Armand Vance is a violinist, cellist, pianist, and composer in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He loves being a musician, and one of his favorite things about it is being able to teach it, which is why he's going the extra mile to make sure his students can keep learning. Giving people in Fort Worth a taste of her family's most treasured recipe gives Jacqueline Anaya of Caliciense a lot of joy, but it's also brought her things she didn't expect along the way. Grace Hula Dance Company of Fort Worth is in the DFW, sharing the Asian American Pacific Islander culture and their heritage, but most importantly, the spirit of aloha and ohana. The magic of Christmas has arrived in our Texas cities and towns. You can feel it, you can see it almost everywhere you go. And for some, that Christmas joy and spirit is as big as the Lone Star State. Local restaurants all over Texas, like Enchilada Soleil of Fort Worth, are experiencing their busiest time of the year when it comes to catering for the holidays. And owners say they're not only spending more time on preparing those orders. Jason, these Christmas Eve shoppers just have a couple hours left to purchase those last-minute items they forgot or shop for their entire Christmas dinner. When Alexis Moniz of Fort Worth decided to walk into a boxing gym to get back in shape, she never imagined that she would be the first person in Fort Worth to bring the National Golden Gloves title back to her city.
That's not the case for other artists and other events there, right?
That's correct. For Eric Clapton's show, he refused to have any requirements as far as vaccinations or masks. But for example, Michael Bublé will be here later this month, and he is going to be requiring a vaccination card or a negative COVID test, which they will have testing available here outside Dickies Arena before the show that day. A safe and comfortable space where you can get a haircut that allows you to recognize the real you in the mirror is very important to the LGBTQ community. But in 2021, there aren't a lot of these spaces available in some of our communities yet. DFW Shop's Outdoor Dia de Muertos Market is giving people in DFW an opportunity to honor their dearly departed, but also get their families ahead during this pandemic.
Magaly Ayala gives us an inside look into this tradition and introduces us to a family in North Texas keeping the legacy alive. Take a look.
Keeping the sport of charreria alive and going in North Texas takes a lot of work, dedication, and discipline. But for the Gandara family, it's a top priority. I'm going to take you inside the Fort Worth Memories Museum, which houses some of the most important pieces of Fort Worth history and of our entire state. Sturgeon spearing enthusiasts out here say the conditions on the lake are pretty favorable. They haven't seen much movement, but it's been a fun day to be out. This is the If Then She Can exhibit in Dallas, which honors women in STEM who have achieved great heights in those fields. But the number of women in STEM careers is still not as high as it could be. This is Fort Worth's most popular jazz music venue, the Scat Jazz Lounge in Fort Worth, located in Sundance Square, downtown. It's remained closed since the first shutdown back in March, despite the owner saying this is one of the places in the city where people can enjoy that music for their soul that's so necessary during difficult times. A carnival like this is a rare sighting during this pandemic and one of the few opportunities parents have to create those important childhood memories with their kids and to remind them of what life will be like when, as we all hope, things return to normal soon. Good morning from Fort Worth. It's a pleasure to join you guys this morning. Well, the game plan here at Enchilada Soleil is just to keep things going and keep making things work until the pandemic ends. And if that means a smaller profit, like Mary told us in the story, that's how it's going to be, because her main goal right now is to keep her crew together, to keep her employees working, and just to adapt, because they actually started, they opened the restaurant right before the pandemic hit. So they've really been operating like that, just adapting to every changing situation that we're seeing.
So interesting. This is all they really know. They look pretty busy in your package there. What else are they doing to garner some sales during the holiday season?
Well, I don't know if you can see behind me, it's still a little dark outside this morning, but they have built a really big patio, and that is just a way to invite more people to come, even if they don't feel as comfortable dining in yet. Well, they love to teach people about the deeper meaning in their words, and even everyday words that they use have a lot of meaning. For example, they really were reiterating that aloha isn't just hello and goodbye. It really means love. So when they say hello and goodbye with aloha, they're saying it with a lot of love. And mahalo, thank you, it's thank you, but with so much appreciation. So those sort of things are the things that they teach people. Also, other things that I learned were that other things in their tradition Commission are really significant. For example, when they wear the flowers on their hair, if they wear it on the right, it means that a woman is single and a woman can, be talked to or pursued by a man. But if the woman is wearing the flower on the left side, it's closer to her heart. So that means, Alex, that she is taken and she is married because it's closer to her heart.
All right, good to know the flower placement. Great story, Magaly.
Now that scientists have revealed that almost all of the makeup sold in Canada and the US contain PFAs or forever chemicals, which can lead to cancer, more and more women are making the switch to clean beauty. Making people look beautiful is one of the things Jeanette Tai is most passionate about, along with doing it in a healthy way.
I like to use clean, non-toxic makeup.
Because over time, she says she started hearing more about how harmful beauty can be when you're not paying attention to ingredients.
A lot of people having issues with fertility because of hormone disruptors. They've had issues with just various things. It could cause eczema and even cancer too.
What she's being cautious about is exactly what researchers at the University of Notre Dame revealed this month from a study they conducted, showing that over half of all cosmetics sold in the United States and Canada contain cancer-causing PFAS or forever chemicals like fluoride. Alex, that depends on the real estate agent and the area that they're serving, but the average commission in Texas is about 6%. So that means that if a home sells for $300,000, the agent will collect about $18,000. But if the buyer uses a different seller or a different agent, then the seller has to split that commission with that agent. So they will receive about $9,000 at the end of the sale, at the closing. So it just sort of depends, but it is a profitable industry to be in Texas right now.
Yeah, it's we talk about the money.
Yeah.
You broke it down for us.
As someone who grew up admiring the art and culture of Deep Ellum, Alfredo Piña is the Dallas artist who wants to give back to his community and preserve this area's history.
I love this neighborhood, I always have.
As a child, one of Alfredo Piña's favorite things to do was visit Deep Ellum with his family.
We really didn't have that much when I was a kid, but that turned out to be a benefit. I learned the value of a lot of different things.
One of the things he learned to value most is art, as well as places like Deep Ellum, where no matter where you live in the city, admiring art created by local artists has always been accessible to all.
And having a lot of time on my hands without a bunch of extra video games and whatnot is kind of how I found art.
Despite these humble beginnings, the son of immigrant parents started dreaming about achieving more by following the thing he was drawn to the most from an early age.
It was seeing the graffiti, seeing the murals in Dallas drew me to a whole other universe. And that fascination is actually why I decided to apply myself to work a little harder. I knew that my way out would be through studying hard.
After high school, Piña left Dallas for the East Coast to attend New York University. And after a few years, he made his way back to the place where it all started, where he is now making his mark on the neighborhood he's always loved.
I think people are starting to realize how great it is. It's kind of a hidden gem. But with that transition, I think it's key that we just don't lose sight of why it's different, why it's special, right?
He is one of several Dallas artists collaborating in the Deep Ellum Blues Alley project, organized by the Deep Ellum Foundation, which seeks to preserve the neighborhood's history and support homegrown artists as the city grows.
To make sure that our local artists who are looking for a platform to kind of express themselves and get their name out there.
It's artists like Piña who, according to the Deep Ellum Foundation, keep the project true to the area's essence.
There's this really cool parallel between what the blues artists did for Deep Ellum in the 1920s and what the mural artists are doing for Deep Ellum now. And so to kind of tie those two together in this project, it just made sense.
Because they know what shape the grounds they walk on.
I think it's important that people start to understand Deep Ellum more than just for food and drinks. There's a lot of history here. This was actually a neighborhood that was founded by freed slaves.
Artists who have a calling to keep those Deep Ellum roots alive.
It's cool to just be able to contribute back in the same way that I think gave me that sense of wonder when I was a kid.
From Ohio to Fort Worth to serve his purpose.
To teach music to middle school students. And yeah, my background, I started playing violin when I was in middle school, actually, which is always a story I share with them.
He wants youth in underrepresented communities to discover the power of music.
I really want to show and inspire young kids, Black and Hispanic, to let them know that just because you don't see yourself within this field, within this sphere, doesn't mean that you don't belong. Sometimes you just gotta make a seat for yourself at the table.
Aware of the inequity some of his Eastside Fort Worth students face, his mission is to make sure a lack of funds doesn't stop them from playing.
I have been trying to figure out a way to combat those inequities and accommodate for the students. And one of those ways was by obtaining donations from my social media platforms.
To cover essential orchestra supplies such as rosin, shoulder rests, and other accessories, a necessity that grew with the risk of COVID this year, as he says it's a priority that each student has their own tools to keep learning and stay healthy.
I was able to obtain all those items so that every student can have their own thing, so that we wouldn't have to share and risk the possible transmission of any.
Vance also invests some of the money he makes from events he gets booked for around the DFW area in his students, hoping music continues to build their confidence and helps transform their life the way it did for him. The Caliciense birria recipe
We come from Guadalajara, Jalisco.
dates back to Jacqueline Anaya's grandmother. It's the way she carries on her legacy, even though she never had the opportunity to go visit her in Mexico while she was alive.
That's the only thing that I have from my grandmother. And it's just, to me, it's just I'm honoring her.
It's the original flavor she grew up eating with a twist, which brings people from all over Fort Worth to her Caliciense food truck just to get a taste.
Crunchy but juicy at the same time. So it's hard to describe, but they're really good.
So she pours all her love into it, the same way her abuelita, her mama, and tias all did.
I carry myself as 100% Mexican, and it's just amazing that, it's just generation, going down generation, and that I'm still able to deliver that, and people actually appreciate that.
Never cutting corners.
Making birria is a really hard job.
Making sure people don't only eat, but get an experience through every bite of her tacos dorados, quesadillas, or sip of the consommé in the birria ramen.
What makes our broth very special and very flavorful is that we do not water it down. So it's that concentrate, of all the juices and the spices and everything married together.
This passion for sharing her culture through food is leading her to reach unexpected success.
I honestly just would never expect in a million years that I would be here today, about to open up a restaurant, hopefully by the end of the year.
She is part of the fastest growing entrepreneur demographic in the nation. According to the National Women's Business Council, it is estimated that 400 Hispanic women-owned businesses are launched every day. This is the American dream her immigrant parents came to the United States for, and she is grateful that it is happening, that they can savor it too.
Me acuerdo cuando me dijo, "Mam, ya la hicimos, voy a abrir una food truck. Ya no vas a volver a trabajar para nadie más."
Giving Texans authentic birria de Jalisco
I want to be a new classic
in Fort Worth.